Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today, I want to take a look at the new commanders that were added into the game as part of the Stellar Clash. We've got 3 of them. One is an American cruiser commander, one is a Japanese destroyer commander, and the last one is yet another German battleship commander. As for how do you obtain these guys, you can go to the store, this new Stellar tab. You can buy them for the in-game currency that you get by playing the game mode, or you can buy them for doubloons, and they each come with a mission. So, depends on if you want to grind away at the Stellar game mode. Keep in mind, if you do, the Tier 6 Yukikaze is up for grabs, and I should have a review on that out tomorrow. So if you spend 5,000 for one of these guys, you're probably not going to have enough left over to get the Yukikaze. Just keep that in mind. As for the commanders themselves, let us start with Shelly Beeple. Her base trait reduces the risk of catching fire. I could see that as something that you might want to use on some of your tanky battleship builds, perhaps. But other than that, she's sort of the agile defensive cruiser type commander. Comes with Burn It Down XXL and Ingenious. Then you got Full Speed Ahead and Before It's Too Late. Velocious, Sponge, nothing you haven't seen before. She does come with Armed and Ready, though, which increases incoming fire dispersion. I think this is a skill that Norm Scott actually has. And it also gives you the early warning indicator showing the number of enemy ships currently targeting your ship with their main batteries. Both Ingenious and this Armed and Ready skill do that. So you could forego Ingenious in favor of Burn It Down XXL and still get that early warning indicator, but Ingenious, in my mind, is more valuable because of the turret traverse buff that it also comes with. Her skills down at the bottom: Acoustic Chamber for extra sonar charges, rudder shift stuff, and this is her unique skill, Private Zone. Improve the cruiser's concealment and show the direction of the nearest enemy. So this one actually cuts down on your detectability, and then it gives you that little radio position finder thing that Twist and Track gives you. So she is a very interesting commander, I guess. She's something you might want to use on your American cruisers, but if you already have this guy, Victor Einstein, I think this guy is better if you want to build for your American cruisers. So, as far as Shelly Beeple goes, I'd probably rate her not too high in the list of priorities of commanders you might want to get. On the other hand, Fishface over here, Space Fishy, he is a much more interesting commander, and I think probably the most valuable of the 3. You can see I've pumped some promotion orders into him already, tested him out on the Shimakaze and the new Yukikaze, and I think he does pretty well for the ship. First off, his base trait increases torpedo speed. It's only by 2.8 knots here at rank 12 Legendary 2, but you can see, get it up there, maybe in the vicinity of 4 knots when fully maxed. Increasing your torpedo speed is, I think, a valuable thing, especially for these Japanese cruisers, or rather Japanese destroyers. I've got the Shimakaze torps going at like 83 knots with these things. Other than that, he's sort of your typical torpedo-focused destroyer captain, subsurface venture, or contact is imminent, look at me now, or fragile threat, torpedo safari, or back in stock. And then his unique skill is breakneck speed. Reduces the engine boost reload time significantly, and also gives you an extra engine boost charge. But that comes at the expense of the engine boost duration. Good thing, I think, on the Japanese destroyers to have an extra engine boost, even if it doesn't last for long. You got to get somewhere quick, or you got to get away from a situation. You can pop an engine boost and run away. And then you get an extra one, and it reloads a lot quicker. So this guy, Fishface here, I think this is probably the most valuable commander out of the 3. And finally, we'll take a look at John Luke Pickup, German battleship commander. How many German battleship commanders is this? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 German battleship commanders now in the game. So you're never going to be at a loss for your German battleship builds. Anyway, this guy has a very interesting skill. He's basically your accuracy type commander, sort of like Hipper. His base trait reduces spotter reload time by 11%. Probably not something I would ever use on any build. Got flammable cannoneer and the same options as your typical accuracy/range battleship commander. He's also got gyrating drill bits and crisscross. But this thing, Fusillade, I'm probably butchering that word. Improve your battleship's HE shell penetration and decrease enhanced secondary targeting's consumables reload time, as well as add extra charges to it. Whoever wrote that leaves a little bit to be desired. Anyway, this decreases the reload time on that secondary consumable, and it gives you an extra secondary consumable. But the most important thing it does is increase the armor penetration of your battleship's high explosive shells by 10%. And this applies not only to the main battery guns, but also to the secondaries. So it makes the high explosive secondaries more capable of penetrating, and I've been testing it out. Seems like I'm getting a lot more damaging hits on battleships and cruisers with this skill on. The only downside of it is it doesn't increase the range of the secondaries like Porcupine. So the only way to get ranged secondaries on this build would be to use Hipper as an inspiration and also use the secondary mods in the mod slot. Still, even though the secondaries aren't going to be shooting out as far with this skill, they are going to be penetrating more things than they otherwise would. So that may be a good trade-off to use. Very interesting. I'm going to continue testing it out. As for down here, he's got marksmanship or on second thought, and then emergency specialist, reaching out XXL, or properly meticulous. And you can see I've got this selected because I'm testing out the efficacy of secondaries with this guy. Hopefully I can get some more promotion orders and bump him up to 11 here soon. That's my goal anyway. And then, legendary skills down here. He does come with will to rebuild for whatever it's worth. So those are the new commanders in a nutshell. Again, if you were going to buy one, I think Squishy Fishy here, or Space Fishy, whatever, I think he's probably the most valuable, and I think you could either take it or leave it with these two. However, John Pickup here, his secondary skill, very interesting, something I'm looking forward to testing out on the German battleships, because as you may or may not know, German high explosive penetration is usually calculated by quarter pen instead of 1/6 pen, meaning you take the caliber of the high explosive shell and divide by 4 in order to figure out the armor it can penetrate. That is the case on German cruisers, and on World of Warships in PC, or on PC rather, it's the case for German battleship secondaries as well. They get quarter pen on the PC, but recently on Reddit, one of the community managers for World of Warships Legends, I think it was Filigula maybe, he confirmed that the German battleship secondaries in World of Warships Legends actually don't get quarter pen HE secondaries. They still have 1/6 pen, which means like the 152mm secondaries on the Bismarck and the Grosse Kurfürst, they are not going to penetrate something like a Baltimore's hull with 27mm because they only have 25mm of penetration. And I haven't done the math as far as this guy's secondary skill, what that 10% increase to HE shell penetration does. I don't know if that's going to let you penetrate 27mm of armor like you should be able to with the secondaries, but it's going to increase the penetration and therefore increase the damage that they do. So that's why I think this guy is interesting, but only for this skill. The rest of it is just more of the same. And same thing with Shelly Beeple. The only thing that's really interesting about her is this skill down here. And I will say that concealment is a good thing on American cruisers. So she might be a good commander as far as speccing into concealment goes, but that's the only thing that really stands out about her. And then Squishy Fishy, the reason I say he's probably the most valuable is because I could see using his base trait on some destroyer builds in order to get a little bit more speed out of your torpedoes. That should cut down, I would think, on the reaction time of your enemies, sort of like decreasing the detectability of the torpedoes does, but I'm not 100% sure on what the exact numbers would be there. In any case, there's a look at the new Space Cadet commanders for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, give the video a thumbs up. Let me know if you're planning to get any of these guys in the comments and which ones you might be planning to get. And with that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.